I have something I want to play, and this is going to be part one. Part two is going to come up as soon as I can authenticate something and get an unedited, hopefully, copy. It's an audio call that's been released by a friend of Charlie Kirk since 2009. And it's about a phone call he received last Christmas range. And something strange had occurred. Look, I don't know what anybody believes. What I will say is I have trouble believing that, once again, like what happened in Pennsylvania, everybody screwed up and was dumb. I have trouble believing that so many people said one thing in the 10 days that followed the incident that we saw, and then now are saying something different. And I'm about to provide an example. So I think a lot of people may have forgotten the early story, like within the first 48 hours, because Eric Kirk got on that interview, live stream, whatever, and said that Charlie had no fear and wasn't saying anything about having fear. And I've been sitting here trying to remember where this video went and what happened. I've only been able to find it on Facebook, but it was a story about an Itzy witch and a curse. And the priest coming over and the prayers happening and the pastors being called in all the night before Disappearance in Utah. But why would you need to do that? Why would you be praying over him? Why would you be calling all these people in if nothing happened the day before? Why were you doing it the night before out of the norm? And that was the storyline early on. But just 24 hours ago, that wasn't the storyline. We hear it's a 30-06. Then everybody comes out, and I know that's a hunting rifle. That was Pop's favorite hunting rifle when we went deer hunting, for the neck, because the way it would go through and not tear it up. I just don't see a way to what an exit wound with that kind of bullet at that range, with what I know about hunting and shooting. And then it was supposed to be this rifle that was so rare. And my granddaddy had one that was a 30-06, wood grain and engraved carved barrel. I mean, old school, like late 60s, early 70s. It was beautiful. And he kept it in good shape. Not that Walmart crud that we saw a picture of. Now, I realize that wasn't the exact one, but it was supposed to be a likeness of the exact one. Nothing rare. Nothing that would have been handed down. Nothing that was left over from like World War II. And then I got another video. It's going to be another segment, I guess, where nobody seems to be concentrating on the fact that the actual guy, the boyfriend, he would have had access to all those chat logs and stuff. And he didn't have the actual letter. He just had a picture of it, right? So you probably can't authenticate handwriting that well. I mean, could he have not written it? He took a picture and tore it up and made up that story, which does seem logical. I mean, even possibly have already went, done that, got back home. Especially when you see, I love Chuck Taylors. Love me some Converse. Have since I was in like junior high, right? you kind of make them unique. They form fit to your feet till they're about to fall apart. You don't want to give them up. And he, the boyfriend of Tyler, had a unique pair of Chuck Taylors with weird shoestrings. Also, he had different earlobes and ears. It's amazing that the picture that's supposed to be Tyler in the stairwell seems to be wearing his boyfriend's Chuck Taylors. Not only that, but he has his boyfriend's ears. You know, the one that's disappeared now that they're done interviewing him. Not going where y'all probably think I am, though, with it. And then, and I am going to show y'all that video and the picture proof about the sneakers and the earlobes. I've done some research on that. I'm working on getting, like I said, I want this audio authenticated by Michael Fry first. But we are going to listen to it. And then I'll just tell you whether it's authentic or not. But then the Wolf of Wall Street and those financials. And I would say my way of thinking would be, okay, they had reason to get Charlie out, right? Then I look at the way that Erica Kirk's acted. And I know my grief at losing my mom and then my grief at losing my son, right? Ain't no way I could step into the shoes that she's trying to fill that quick. She was a trad wife. You know, wanted to be a traditional stay-at-home mom and baking and cooking. That was their goal from the beginning. They bonded over that, right? But he wants her to be the CEO if something happens to him. Oh, and then there's the insurance policy. You know, nobody knows who benefited, but Gigi is the daughter's name. It was taken out in 2023 with a huge amount of money for them 2 years it was paid for. But with the $30 million payoff, I mean, somebody get quite comfortable after everything's said and done, a cool 20 mil to roll out on. And I think if one or two ways, you know, with the FBI being so clunky, either they don't care how bad they make it Cash Patel and Dan Bongino look, or they really are that dorky. Or somehow ahead of time, somebody got wind of a plot and they let it seem to play out. And that person's really still alive. And I look at it this way. Would he have had reason? Huh. Well, the funny financials, the chances that he didn't know nothing about it, especially after calling for the audit less than 10 days before his demise. The fact that he created the companies, but yet he's not supposed to know about the one shell company that the one dude was. I don't know, something's a little weird in the water. Like, I'm wondering, was it a government-assisted disappearance? But then he probably wouldn't be able to collect on the life insurance. But wouldn't that explain why none of the real friends seems to be real upset? Why the wife don't seem real upset? Why the picture of her holding his hand looked like a fake wooden doll? Why we've not heard anything from actual family members, you know, like blood relatives. We've not seen the children. Huh. Why she seems to be burning down everything that was his legacy. I mean, like the donor that he turned down miraculously is back in the picture now. And, huh. I know, right? I'm not warm as I may look. I'm in the sleeping bag. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 different blankets on me. and 2 terracotta pots with 8 tea lights and 1 can, my last can, of rubbing alcohol burning. But dadgummit, it's like -7 wind chill outside. So I think I'm pretty warm, even though it's about 42, 43 in here. Anyway, my thing is, we're supposed to buy that he was the man with the neck of steel. And all these inconsistencies. And then with the rumors coming up, that he was secretly liking dudes. I don't know. It just makes me wonder, did he have reason to want to disappear? Just saying, just a thought. Just a thought that's been nagging at me. Anyway, Erica Kirk said he wasn't messaging people the night before or even the days before. She has his phone and she knows, right? Remember this story? I believe it's from September 9th. Oh, hold on.
And then I want to start with it. I've been wrestling with whether to bring you this story for a few days now. I've been wrestling because I find it so vile and off and odd. I wasn't even sure where to go with it. But I decided that I had to do it because the groups who did this deserve public censure. I learned when I was out in Arizona last week that 2 weeks before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, the far-left website Jezebel declared that it had a mission to cast bad luck or a curse on Charlie. They wanted to hurt him.
I want y'all to remember back because I'm looking for the clip still. And there's a clip of Erica Kirk commenting on this and somebody else from TPUSA. If anybody knows, please send me that.
Hurt him in some way. They declared, quote, if the far-right misogynist with a bad haircut wants to villainize independent women, Jezebel is more than happy to be the hag of his nightmares. And they went on to the website Etsy, yes, Etsy, to, quote, cast a curse on him. Yes, this is actually a thing. Etsy, the website known for making arts and crafts on demand, will happily cast a hex through its witches, who you can hire, on someone if you ask them to. The Jezebel crew was delighted to discover, quote, it's not uncommon for the so-called witches on Etsy to channel their energy toward thwarting Republicans. There's even a subreddit devoted to casting nightly hexes on Trump. Jezebel decided Charlie Kirk, who they repeatedly described as far-right, the founder of the right-wing conspiracy theory factory, Turning Point US.
I do have to stop every little bit to make a comment. So while I'm stopping to make a comment, thanks again and shout out to Miss Deb. This puts out so much heat, takes very little lamp oil, and wasn't that expensive compared to the price of the Coleman lanterns. You can get 3 of these for the price of 1 of those.
USA is, quote, more irritating than most, and asked its audience if they were, quote, interested in punishing Kirk for years of regressive rhetoric with a curse, with a hex on him. After all, they told readers, he's basically a fake news vending machine. The article notably does not list the name of any particular author, but simply uses its company name as the byline. So we don't know exactly which writer or staffer at Jezebel, which has long been a disgusting publication, came up with the idea. But since they're attributing it to all of them, so will we in terms of our blame. It was, in fact, the brainchild of one writer, however, because it is written in the first person, a female. The writer explains now, is it ethical to curse a man I've never met? Probably not. But is it unethical to let him keep talking? Yes. Now comes the obligatory ass-covering paragraph in the piece, just to stave off any negative publicity for Jezebel. Quote, I want to make it clear I'm not calling on dark forces to cause him harm. I just want him to wake up every morning with an inexplicable zit. I want his podcast microphone to malfunction every time he hits record. I want his blue blazers to suddenly all be one size too small. I want one of his socks to always be sliding down his foot. I want his thumb to grow too big to tweet. To ruin his day with the collective feminist power of the Etsy coven would be my life's greatest joy. So even in her ass covering, she was asking for Charlie to be rendered less attractive, to not be able to use his microphone and silence his voice, to have discomfort foisted upon him, to stop his ability to tweet or spread his message, and to quote, ruin his day. Got it? That's the nice part of the Jezebel article. She tells the reader she placed her first spell on Etsy, and it was, quote, in all caps, make everyone hate him. And she wondered aloud, how long would it take to kick in? The witch, servicing Jezebel on Etsy, contacted the writer and asked if she would like to, quote, amplify the energetic support of the spell for an extra $50. She did it. She goes on, for the powerful hex spell, I had to provide Kirk's date of birth for accuracy. The witch informed her that she, the witch, had performed the hex and that it was successful. Jezebel wanted to know when they were getting results on their curse.
It is not AI. I hate to tell you, Grady. Sorry. I'm glad you said that, though. You gave me a reason to pause for commentary. And Miss Deb, rewind a little bit. You'll see I just showed the lantern. It's not AI. This was all over the papers. It was all out there. The major news organizations, even local stations in Utah, were covering this directly after. And now, just like the Superman narrative, it seems to have disappeared. What's up, Pi?
And while their article about all of this was published on Monday, September 8th,
I mean, how dumb are we
makes
supposed
clear
to be?
that the writer contracted for the curse in late August. She says she wanted it to line up with the new moon in Virgo, which this year meant August 23rd. That tracks because she points out in the piece that by August 24th, she was waiting impatiently for results. The witch, they reveal, promised on August 23rd that, quote, you will see the first results within 2 to 3 weeks. This was 18 days before Charlie was killed. Not satisfied with this curse, the amped up one, alone, Jezebel reached out to a, quote, third witch, Priestess Lilin. Jezebel opined, if enough people cursed a single person, would the results be stronger? Quote, when I asked her if she'd noticed more political figures being targeted these days, she said yes. The next day, Lilin sent the Jezebel writer proof of the hex she had cast, quote, a photograph.
While we're listening to this, though, and taking it in and talking, here's a question to ponder. Where are we as a nation, as human beings, politically, that we're willing to take it to there? Just a question. Hey, Miss Justice, just a question. Oh. Sorry, y'all, I'm trying. Oh, Lord.
Photograph in flames, the edges slowly curling inward, engulfing Charlie's ridiculous, scrunched-up little face. She whispered, I imagine, writes to the Jezebel reporter, trust the unseen. Chills, writes Jezebel. Sunday, August 24th passed, writes the author, and nothing. Monday, August 25th, still nothing. Tuesday, August 26th, nothing. But then she writes, she reminded herself, this is witchcraft, not Amazon.
Work hard,
the forces operate on their own schedule. The Jezebel writer ends the piece as follows. So, did my Etsy curses work? Time will tell. The forces move in mysterious ways. And as the priestess Lilin reminded me, spell work is a collaboration between the caster, the client, and the universe itself. For now, we can only trust in the timing of the great unknown. To you, Mr. Kirk, may the rash come swiftly. 2.5 weeks after those curses were requested and cast, 2 days after Jezebel published that article, Charlie was killed by an assassin's bullet. I know what you're thinking. This is a bullshit Etsy curse. Why are we spending time on this? I'm going to get to that in a minute. Stay with me for now. After the shooting, Jezebel took down the article, quote, on the recommendation of our lawyers. They underscored that the piece was meant to be humorous, intended as satire, and that they made clear they wished Charlie, quote, no physical harm, which is not the full story now, is it? At the same time, they said of the article, quote, we stand by every word, which means they did want him cursed. They wanted everyone to hate him. They wanted it to be powerful, and they wanted Charlie, quote, punished for years of regressive rhetoric.
By the way, this seems to only be available on Facebook now. Just wondering why.
They also made clear that taking down the article was, quote, driven by an abundance of caution for our staff. In other words, they were worried about violence against them by Charlie Kirk supporters. They wrote, wish, quote, to avoid the piece being misused in a tense and volatile environment. There was not, they made clear, any change in their editorial judgment. In fact, they emphasized, quote, we may republish at a later date. They then rambled on about the country's gun problem and the heated political divide in the country and free speech, noting they do not actually condone political violence. Now, again, you may be saying to yourself, why are we talking about Etsy curses? None of this is real. Well, two things. First of all, Christians are opposed to casting spells or trying to contact the spirit world. Not only because they believe there's only one God, but because they acknowledge the existence of the devil and evil spirits. Here is Father Mike Schmidt. He was on the day Charlie died, helping us through that as well. But he came on our show first time a couple of years ago, and here he is discussing this very subject.
The motivation behind the Ouija board
I'm
is
gonna
actually
fast
something
forward
where
a little bit.
I'm trying to contact spirits. And someone could say, well, I'm trying to contact nice spirits or good spirits. And the unfortunate thing
World can actually have real world consequences. It's not something to mess with. Many Christians believe this. This is dangerous. It's not a game. It's literally evil. Second, this is what I really want you all and the people at Jezebel and Etsy to know. Erica and Charlie Kirk heard about these curses.
This is what I really want to address based on what Erica said. Hear this part. No, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. No, I'm not thinking my name is Candace Owens. What I am thinking is I have enough discernment and common sense to know when somebody is blowing smoke up my ass. Yes, two things can be true at once. But you can't seem so surprised by a claim or by somebody saying something when you have put this out. This came out within 48 hours of that fateful day in Utah. The story did about this Jezebel article and the spirits world. Now listen to what's about to be said.
And that news genuinely rattled Erica in particular. She knew Christian teaching on the subject. She loved Charlie, absolutely. And she was scared when she heard of the curses Jezebel had called them. So much so that she and Charlie contacted a friend, who I believe she said was a Catholic priest, but definitely a friend, and asked him to come over and pray with them over Charlie the night before he was murdered.
What? Wait a minute. What? Do I need to rewind and replay that? Because did I not just see Erica Kirk say she has his phone? Huh? Let's go back just a little bit here. Just a little bit. Hold on. Stay with me.
Erica and Charlie Kirk heard about these curses, and that news genuinely rattled Erica in particular.
So
she knew Christian teaching on the subject. She loved Charlie, absolutely. And she was scared when she heard of the curses Jezebel had called up.
What not?
So much so that she and Charlie contacted a friend, who I believe she said was a Catholic priest, definitely a friend, and asked him to come over and pray with them over Charlie the night before he was murdered.
The night before.
She eventually worked it through. And so
hold on. What? Nobody has calls or texts about him being in fear for his well-being the night before. Ain't that what she just said, sitting in the chair with the hair back and the white cute thing only going to the one side of the face? Which is true. I'm just asking for a friend. I wasn't in either place. Which one is the truth? It's not conspiracy nonsense. I want to know what's the truth. Was it a 30-06 that miraculously the Man of Steel's neck stopped? Or is there shrapnel because it was mispacked? Was it the gun we saw a picture of? Or was it a different one? Was Tyler wearing Lance's shoes? Or were there more than one person? Please don't tell me it's conspiracy nonsense. Isn't that what they said to people about JFK and MLK? Oh, and us getting into the Vietnam conflict. And weren't all of those questions that needed to be asked? Weren't all those that had multiple coincidences, multiple indications of doublespeak? Let me play it one more time and let it play out. It's all the weirdness that doesn't add up. Amen. It is all of the weirdness. And then when you look at dollars and cents, I don't care where people's from. That ain't got nothing to do with it. It ain't got nothing to do with beliefs, in my opinion. It's dollars and cents. No, a pile of abnormalities does not amount to evidence. What it does amount to is that somebody's not doing their due diligence. You cannot have all of these abnormalities and all these questions. You cannot have all these people that are so close to this person and telling all these fabrications, including the head of security on Sean Ryan, and not be wanting to ask questions. You can't step into the role to run a multi-billion-dollar company and say you don't want press. You can't say that you're going to create a memorial that you're going to charge people to go into, but you don't even want to tell the people if it was a normal burial or if there was cremation involved or what. You can't record yourself in a private moment and you choose to put it out there, and then it's a problem when you don't want to answer certain questions. My point is, she just did an interview and said there were no calls. There was no feeling of any doom the night before he was unalived. Because she's got the phone. But this story, Megyn Kelly's a liar now? Or did she lie to Megyn Kelly? Because they called a priest, and you'll find out that's not the end of it. Let me rewind a little bit. Let's play again. Here we go.
That news genuinely rattled Erica in particular. She knew Christian teaching on the subject. She loved Charlie, absolutely. And she was scared when she heard of the curses Jezebel had called up. So much so that she and Charlie contacted a friend, who I believe she said was a Catholic priest, but definitely a friend, and asked him to come over and pray with them over Charlie the night before he was murdered.
The night before.
She eventually worked it through, and so did Charlie. That, as she later told me, weapons will form but not prosper. That Satan...
She just said Erica herself told her that. That part.
And those witches have no power. Of course, God's will is the one that matters, and his blessing over Charlie was real and palpable. All you had to do was spend time with Charlie to know that.
It's because I'm playing it through my phone. I'm recording my computer
family.
screen.
Why do this vile thing to a young couple? Parents to two babies, living in accordance with the gospel, deeply in love. Yes, political, but doing nothing other than speaking publicly about their views.
The article's
and their
also
desires
verifiable.
to make other people's lives better. Who would do such a vile thing? Jezebel, that's who.
It's also on Megyn Kelly's
behind this
Facebook.
Evil, they should be called out. That's why I'm talking about it as our
September 23rd.
They should be called out.
Go
Jezebel
look it for
should
yourself.
be forced to identify the woman.
Matter of fact, you guys can pull this up and watch it for yourself. Megyn Kelly's blue check page, posted on September 23rd. Hey, Elizabeth. Yeah, I think so too.
Who wrote this and did this? Jezebel should close, frankly. It has zero redeeming virtues or value. Etsy should stop this practice immediately and get back to arts and crafts and jewelry. And both entities should issue an immediate, full-throated apology to Erica Kirk for introducing...
I think it's a huge distraction. I think it was a psyop. I think it was geared at us being okay with them taking a part of the First Amendment away. I think the goal was going to be to go before the Supreme Court, and I think it still might be, to declare hate speech illegal, which puts the whole free speech up amendment up. I may think what somebody has to say is a line of horse shit. I may think it's the worst thing I've ever heard. But if I believe in free speech, I have to believe in their right to say it and my right to say it's horse shit. Oh, I don't care. This is not political to me. This is not about Trump or politics. This is about right and wrong and truth and lies. Period. Yeah, there are billions of red flags, honestly. Personally, I believe it was a planned psyop with goals, and usually those goals are to take away the rights of citizens and us to be okay with it. Just like the 19 virus, just like 9/11, just like going into Vietnam. I just don't believe there was one person. I believe there was multiple persons. I got you.
Introducing this awfulness into her beautiful family and causing her or Charlie any distress whatsoever.
Let me rewind just a little bit so you'll make sure and hear the part where she says that Erica Kirk herself told her about this. That's what is important to me. I did
Should be
by
forced to
their
identify
son.
the woman who wrote this and did this. Jezebel should close, frankly. It has zero redeeming virtues or value. Etsy should stop this practice immediately and get back to arts and crafts and jewelry. And both entities should issue an immediate, full-throated apology to Erica Kirk for introducing this awfulness into her beautiful family and causing her or Charlie any distress whatsoever in what would be the waning hours of his life. It's not easy to contact them. Etsy's easier than Jezebel. Etsy, you can email them. press@etsy.com. press@etsy.com. Jezebel intentionally makes it difficult for you to reach out to them, though we did for comment on this piece, and ask them whether they will indeed republish this article, and other questions as well. They didn't get back to us, but here's how you do it if you are so inclined. You go to their website, you click on contact, and then you submit your comment. When inflation jumps, when you hear the national debt is over $37 trillion, do you ever think maybe now would be a good time to buy some gold? Well, it would be. Whether as a hedge against inflation, peace of mind during global instability, or just for sensible diversification, Birch Gold Group believes every American should own physical gold. So they created something special. And through September 30th, if you're a first-time gold buyer, Birch Gold is going to offer you a rebate of up to $10,000 in free metals on qualifying purchases. To claim eligibility and start the process, request an info kit just right now. Text MK to the number 989898, plus Birch Gold can help you roll an existing IRA or 401k into one in gold. And you're still eligible for a rebate and free metals of up to $10,000. Make right now your first time to buy gold and take advantage of a rebate of up to $10,000 when you buy by September.
About the... I'm sorry, I got stuck reading that. I think y'all were talking about something different than what we're talking about, but okay. Sorry, y'all, I was reading the comments. Allegedly, Ken. Where'd the video for that? Oh, wait a minute. They only hold it for 30 days, and nobody thought in this day and age to put it on a flash drive or a DVD or a thumbnail. The FBI didn't think to save it. Just questions. Again, incompetence. Huh. Okay, guys, I'm going to end this live. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm working on the audio and getting a video clip and permission to use it from The Wolf of Wall Street. Same, not to trust. Please respect each other in the chat. Rudeness to each other will cause everybody involved to be in timeout like we're back in elementary. All right, you guys. Peace, love, and light. I will see you all in a few hours. With the audio and a clip from Wolf of Wall Street and the video about the Chuck Taylors. I hope y'all are ready. I've been working on this for a minute. And I just want to show what was said then and what was said now and ask which one is actually the truth. You guys decide. Let me know in the comment section of this live stream. Was this on September 23rd that Erica told to Megan? Was that the truth? Or was what she just said a couple days ago, hours ago, the truth? Which one is it? Peace, love, and light. The truth is what's worth the fight.